Hey, what's up? This is Hunter with Tortoise and Hare Software, and today we're going to be talking about leveraging programmatic SEO to rapidly expand traffic for certain types of pages that might all share a same structure or format, and that would be burdensome to create manually one by one, and would also be a massive headache to maintain if you were to publish and create all of them. So let's hop right into the episode and talk a little bit more about it. So first off, let's talk a little bit more about what is programmatic SEO. I like to think of it really as more of something like spreadsheet-driven SEO, but programmatic SEO in general is just ways to use computer code to generate pages rather than trying to build them all yourself. In a WordPress context, that's usually done via a plugin, and that's what I've been doing it. I could write code to programmatically generate pages, but I'm not trying to go through all that headache. So, just using some of the available solutions on the market. And I've been dabbling a lot in programmatic SEO, both to try and expand the lead volume for my agency, but also just to meet the pricing demands. Marketing in general is under a lot of price pressures right now due to the use of AI, kind of a slowing economy. And then, my primary customer segment is the MSP space, which is a very low spending space. So there's, sectors like SaaS and e-commerce and things like that usually have a lot more robust budgets, but the space that I work in primarily is very cost constrained. So any way that I can reduce the price or the cost to serve provide solutions that are, get the job done at a lower cost is something that I'm, find worth, looking at. So that's really what turned me on to programmatic SEO, clients, and it's been great, because, I used to charge $1,500 per landing page to build. So, let's just say you've got location pages for a business and you want to, churn out 10, 20 location pages. Well, at $1,500 a pop, that's 20,000, whatever the, total number is worth of expense. Whereas if you go with a programmatic SEO approach, you might be able to do it for $5. The pages aren't going to be all custom, one by one, but you can do a lot with, expand your footprint of your website very fast and effectively for a much lower cost than trying to do some of these things manually. And really one of the main benefits of programmatic SEO is also, again, that maintainability, because business conditions change, companies pivot, things like that. And then that often requires updating messaging and, content on a bunch of web pages. Well, if you don't have a way to do that and you've got 40 location pages or other, structured pages, it can be a real pain, and it can, more or less freeze a business and make it so that it doesn't have any ability to adapt. So that's kind of just an overview of, programmatic SEO and why it's advantageous. And now I'll pop over to a screen share and kind of talk about some of the, real world use cases I've done to apply programmatic SEO to help businesses generate more leads at a lower cost. All right, so the first thing I'm going to walk through is the Tortoise and Hare site, because this is definitely the most robust use case that I've done for programmatic SEO so far, and just kind of want to share that. So I'm going to come over here to the pages and come over here to state and city. And so I just kind of want to show you the template here. So we've got a digital marketing agency for technology businesses in state. I've used a wildcard here, and then kind of put another state wildcard here as well, and then done some other things. And then basically this is the template page. And then what I do is I go and prepare a spreadsheet on the back end to inject content where needed onto the states, and then go through and programmatically generate a bunch of state pages. I've also done that for a city page, so very similar template, but different. And if I come over here to the page sitemap, and actually just swap back over here to this, put a little footer link here to the locations we serve, and put like United States here, and then I've got 50 states in the District of Columbia here, all with programmatically generated pages. So digital marketing agency for technology businesses in Washington DC. Probably the hardest part about this is ironically just getting the linking. The Washington DC page isn't the best one to look at, but if we look at like Florida, for instance, I used AI and ChatGPT to dynamically populate a internal linking structure. So these are all the major cities that I've created city pages for. And then if I come back to Jacksonville here, also got some links kind of down here at the bottom for related locations for Jacksonville, Florida. So some related it's got the state page up here and then related cities, because this is one of the things that present some unique content on each of these pages, and internal linking structures are extremely important for SEO. Otherwise we're just going to have a bunch of orphaned pages here on this website that have no real internal linking structures between them. So honestly, this was easily the hardest part of building out these pages, is injecting these internal linking structures, and then it did take quite a bit of time to get these templates built. I started off with a single template to make sure it would rank for all the queries that I wanted it to and things like that, and spent probably 3 months tweaking the page, getting SEO feedback, tweaking the page, getting SEO feedback to really get like a good solid template that I could apply, and then went and kind of scaled all that up. And I won't go through the whole programmatic SEO process, but I wound up rolling out a network of I think 50 state pages and about 300 city pages. So expanded the footprint of the Tortoise and Hare website by hundreds and hundreds of pages, and it's still very much in early stages. But kind of, if I just go over here to locations, and look at kind of like last 12 months, you can see there was a big spike in impressions, and then it's kind of leveling out a little bit. This is not unusual. This is very common for how a SEO growth pattern will look. It typically takes 6 months from initial publish until a page really comes into form. So an initial spike like this, very common, and then kind of a leveling back out. So we're only about 3 months in, and I expect about another 3-4 months from now, maybe longer, there will start to be a uptick in traffic here. And because when you roll out a network of 400 something pages, if I look at a lot of them, you'll see that they haven't even been crawled since this one hasn't been crawled since April, but I published a lot of these pages in February. Many of them haven't even been crawled since their initial footprint. One of the downsides is rapidly expanding your footprint on the web is that Google has a crawl budget for your website, so it will definitely impact your crawl budget, and Google will start to react more slowly towards changes you make on your site. So it's going to take a while for all these pages to continue to get crawled and reflect some updates that I've made and things like that. But so that's one case. Gonna come over here to my dad's fishing website. I also rolled out a whole network of fishing type pages for him on his website. So spring, summer, fall, winter types of fishing: bay, flats fishing, fly fishing, inshore, kids fishing, sight fishing, by species, various types of fishing. This rapidly expanded his, base of SEO traffic, and he basically started getting weekly leads pretty much as soon as I rolled out this network of, fishing pages for his website. I've also gone to an MSP website. So this, Control Alt Delete, one of my, customers here. I rolled out a whole network of industry pages for them. Again, like this used to take, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pages at $1,500 a page. You're talking 15, 17 grand to roll out this sort of network of pages on a one-by-one basis over a period of a year or longer. And I rolled this out in 1 month, and now they have 12 industry pages or 11 industry pages, and these are all maintainable. Yes, they are not as custom as they could be, but it's nonetheless effective. If I come over here and kind of look at their traffic and go to their industries, we can see that like even recently they've got a few impressions. I just did this one recently, but if I look at average position, they're already ranking top spot for things that are like IT services for architects in their local area. So these industry pages are already making a positive impact. Again, it'll probably take 6 months for these pages to really come into form. That's just how SEO works. But we're doing some cool stuff there. I've also got another MSP that I rolled out some location pages for. Location pages are definitely one of the most common use cases for SEO landing pages via programmatic SEO, but there's a lot of ways that you can leverage programmatic SEO to expand the footprint of your website in a hurry. It does take some setup to make sure that these pages are unique and have good internal linking structures and are following SEO best practices. So that's where you need a programmatic SEO consultant to make sure that you're doing those things right and really extracting the value out of programmatic SEO. But this is just something that I've been doing recently to, again, help rapidly expand footprints and help customers put out the traffic footprints that they need to generate leads in shorter time frames at lower cost, and also make their pages and things like that maintainable for the future. So yeah, cool. That's a little bit of an overview of programmatic SEO and one of the things I've been up to lately. Hope you liked the video. Programmatic SEO is really fun. It's definitely different, and it's not a substitute for traditional SEO and local SEO. You still have to create regular landing pages and create custom web content, but there are certain types of pages such as location pages and industry pages and things in your business that you can probably apply programmatic SEO to really help you accelerate timelines, expand your footprint, and generate more leads for your business. So reach out if you want to talk a little bit about that. Happy to kind of game plan and see if there's anything that we can do to help your business out. If you did like the video, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Again, I'm Hunter Nelson with Tortoise and Hare Software, and thanks for watching.